During the past week here in Miami Beach, our judges have met with each of the 51 beauty delegates individually to evaluate them on poise, personality, and general appearance. Now, by secret ballot, based on these preliminary judgings, our judges have selected 15 girls as the semi-finalists, and only these 15 girls will continue in swimsuits and gowns for the title of Miss USA. And because of this secret balloting system, neither the judges, the girls, nor I know the names on this card. I'll read them in two groups, not in alphabetical order. And before I begin, girls, let me point out that just by virtue of the fact you're here, you are all already winners, and each and every one of you should be very proud of yourselves, and good luck to all of you. All right, here we go with our first group of semifinalists. The first name on the list is Miss Nevada. Miss Nevada will now be joined by Miss South Carolina. Number 3 among our first group of semifinalists is Miss Washington. And now, a young lady who came a long way to be here, Miss California. Number 5 among the semifinalists is Miss Ohio. I don't think you'll be too disappointed to learn that one of our semifinalists is Miss Florida. Number 7, lucky number 7, Miss District of Columbia. Congratulations, girls. Now, I'm going to chat with each of the girls. That is, Miss South Carolina, if I can get near enough to you to chat with you here. Her name is Vicki Lynn Chesser, and Vicki Lynn, incidentally, won Best State Costume with this costume that she has on from South Carolina. Why don't you explain this to our viewers?
Well, this year, South Carolina is representing its 300th birthday, and my pageant got permission from the Tricentennial Commission to use their logo as my crown and my costume. And the color of purple comes because our First Lady of the state of South Carolina pushed for the amethyst to be our state gem.
Fine. And Vicki, what do you do when you're not in Miss USA pageants?
Well, I'm a junior at the university, and I work part-time for Medlock, Rince & Andrews law firm, and I tutor a little fourth grader twice a week.
Careful with those law firm plugs. Those will cost a lot of money here. Well, Vicki, I want you to walk out this ramp now, and one by one, all of our semifinalists will join you. Okay? There you go. Miss South Carolina. Miss California here is Linda Lee Hall. She's a student at San Fernando Valley State College. And what do you want to do? What are you studying?
I am majoring in history and minoring in geography, and I'd like to be an elementary school teacher.
Uh-huh. You know, when I announced Miss Florida, there was this wild burst of applause, of course, and there's supposed to be so much rivalry between California and Florida, and here you are, Miss California in the enemy camp. Have they been pretty nice to you here?
Oh, they've been great. I just love being in Florida. The people are so warm and friendly.
Don't overdo it. They won't let you back in California.
It's true. I really had a good time.
Good for you. Out there with Miss South Carolina there. That was very sweet. Miss District of Columbia is Nikki Phillips, and I stepped up beside her here, and she says, "Well, Bob, here we are." That's right, here we are. You happy?
Oh, I'm very happy, yes.
Yes, and you're a student at the University of Maryland.
That's right.
And during the week, on several occasions, you've said, Bob, let's talk about my major. So let's talk about your major. It's plant pathology, and I'm
Yes.
sure that a lot of us would like to know what is plant
I'm very proud of my department. It's the study of plant diseases, which are caused by viruses and bacteria and fungi, things like that.
I see. Well, that sounds very interesting. Now, you're from a large family, aren't you?
Yes, 6 of us. I'm the oldest.
This must be a tremendous responsibility for your mother.
It is. Well, she's decided that since all the kids are in school now, she's gone back to school herself, and I'm only beating her graduation by 1 semester.
She's back in school, too?
Yes, she's graduating next semester.
She'll do anything to get away from those 6 kids.
She commutes every day.
Good for her. Thank you, Miss District of Columbia. Now, Miss Florida here is Cheryl Elizabeth Johnson, and you're a student at Stetson working on your master's degree?
This is right, in English.
Uh-huh. And what are your plans? What do you want to do when you get your master's?
Well, I plan to get my Ph.D. when I finish my master's, and then I want to be a college professor.
Ooh, lucky college students who have a doctor who looks like you. Now, this is all very profound from such a pretty little girl. What do you do for fun, Cheryl?
Well, I have lots of hobbies. I love to swim and ski and get out in the sunshine, and I'm really enjoying this pageant. It's been great.
You've really had fun.
I have.
Good. Thank you, Miss Florida. Now, Miss Ohio is Jane Harrison, and Jane, you're from a big family, are you?
Yes, I am. There's 6 in our family.
And what do you have? All boys, all girls, brothers and sisters? What?
There's 5 girls, and the youngest is my brother, 4.
Aha. How did your father react after all these girls when this boy was born?
I must admit that that's the first time I've ever seen him cry.
He cried? He wanted another girl?
Well, he was really proud of his sons.
Oh, he was happy.
Right.
I see. It was like Miss Texas when she won the Unity Award
Right.
this evening. Uh-huh. Well, Miss Ohio, I want to wish you luck.
Thank you.
You're among the 15 semi-finalists already.
Thank you.
Yes. Now, Miss Washington. Miss Washington is Susan Hyde, and we're talking about big families here with Miss Ohio. You have 5 sisters, is that right?
Yes, I do.
Uh-huh. And how does your father feel about that?
Well, my father can't communicate too well with a house full of women, so he talks to the dog.
Well, what if he... Let's imagine for a moment that he has a message for one of the girls. What does he do then?
Well, he'll talk to the dog for a few minutes, and then the dog will relay it to us.
Oh, that's great. You have a lot of imagination, Miss Washington. Well, I assume it's imagination, don't you? What's going on out there in that state? But, Miss Washington, what I started asking, what do you want to do with your life after you get out of school?
I want to be a first-grade teacher
Why a first-grade teacher?
because high school kids are too smart alecky.
What that thing would have said and told me that.
In college?
Yes.
Yes, so you're just out of high school.
Yes.
All right, well, you go out with the other smart Alex out there. There you go. Now, Miss Nevada is Sharon Lee Shruel, and you plan to go to UCLA and study dramatics, is that right?
Yes, I do. Next year.
That'd be fine. Now, you're having fun here at the pageant, aren't you?
Oh, I'm having a load of fun, really.
Good. All the girls have roommates. Who are your roommates?
California, New Mexico. They're great girls.
How is it having Nevada, California, New Mexico all together?
Well, we have all the western states, but can you imagine 3 girls in one room with all of our junk, our curlers, and our makeup, trying to get ready in the morning? We're all turning in unison.
You have to turn in unison, huh? What do you talk about with these gals?
We usually sleep a lot.
Are you sleepy now?
No, not now. I'm too scared to be.
We have probably, well, I know we have a little over an hour to go. Do you think you'll make it?
I think so. I hope.
Oh, good. I hope you will, too.
Thank
Out you go. And there they are, ladies and
Well, I'll be leaving on Friday night.
finalists.
If there's anyone looking in tonight who's seeing the USA pageant for the first background, this is the 19th Miss USA pageant. 950 young ladies have competed in the finals for the title and many more thousands on the local level. There have been 2 Miss USAs from Illinois, 2 from California, and 2 from Louisiana, and 2 is the record. Now, in the hair department, there have been 8 blonde winners, 9 brunette winners, and 1 redhead, the first Miss USA, Jackie Lockery, who's here tonight. 4 winners of the title have gone on to win the title of Miss Universe. They were Miriam Stevenson in 1954, Carol Morris in 1956, Linda Bement in 1960, and just a few years ago in 1967, Sylvia Hitchcock. Now, when a Miss USA wins Miss Universe, the first runner-up in the Miss USA pageant automatically becomes the official Miss USA. Now, it's the time to hear the names of the second group of semi-finalists and get down to the real business of the pageant, which we'll do in just a moment after this word from Procter & Gamble's Biz.
Meet Mrs.
All right, you've met our first 7 semifinalists. We have 8 more to go. Number 8 is Miss Virginia. And we're going to stay down in the South for number 9, Miss Georgia. Number 10 is Miss Maine. And lucky number 11, Miss Tennessee. Our 12th semifinalist among 15 is Miss New York. Next, Miss Arkansas. Number 14 is Miss Oregon. All right, that's 14. Only one more girl who has a chance to become Miss USA of 1970, and that girl is Miss Texas. Congratulations, girls. Yes, and Miss Georgia here is Cherie Stevens, and she goes to the Carnaby School of Fashion, and she's carrying a baseball and a bat, but you're a golfer, aren't you, Cherie?
Yes, sir.
Yes. How did you get started playing golf?
My boyfriend plays.
Uh-huh.
And I got tired of sitting at home.
You're a golf widow and you're not even married as yet. Was it your idea to start playing golf with him, or did he suggest it?
It was my idea. It's really boring when you sit home every Saturday and Sunday afternoon by yourself.
And you think that this is the way to hold your marriage together in the future, is that right?
Uh-huh.
Well, I'll tell you what. The way she looks at me, she's so cute. I hesitate to say this, but Cherie, as a man who's been married many, many years, believe me, togetherness should end at the first tee. It really should. Thank you, Miss Georgia. Now, Miss Tennessee here is Donna Marie Ford. And Donna Marie, where are you from in Tennessee?
Trenton, Tennessee.
Trenton?
Trenton.
Uh-huh. Is Trenton a big city, a little city? What size
No,
is it?
it's a small town.
Just a small town. What do you do in a small town on Saturday night?
Anyway, it's just a thing,
If you want to. No, you can go to the country club or...
I think you're getting ahead of us out there. I know you're ahead of me. What'd you start to say, Donna Marie?
You can go to the country club or to the movie. But if you want to do something really exciting, you must go to a larger town close by.
All right. Thank you, Miss Tennessee. Now,
You won't dare.
what did you say?
You wouldn't dare.
I wouldn't dare what?
You're going to ask me how old I think you are.
Oh, we were talking about my age during one of the breaks in rehearsal, and Miss Arkansas, that's what she's referring to. Her name is Mary Jane Dial, and now you know, don't you, that one of the important things about becoming Miss USA is having tact, right?
Most definitely.
And when you were discussing my age, as you mentioned just a moment ago, that was not very tactful. How old did you say you think I am?
You want me to tell you how old I think you are?
Yes.
You're not a day over 31, not one day.
You have developed tact in the last week, I'll tell you right now. All right, Miss Arkansas, she is a bundle of enthusiasm, believe me. Now, Diane Swendeman here you met. She is already Miss Unity, and you're the sweetheart of the campus at the University of Texas, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Is that a pretty good job, Diane?
It's not much of a job at all. I must admit that only 5% of the student body votes.
Well, that's true. A lot of politicians in the United States say the same thing. What are your responsibilities as being as the sweetheart?
I am not certain yet. I was just elected, and I will reign perhaps next year.
That's just like a lot of politicians in the United States, too.
I do hope to change the concept of sweetheart. I do think it is rather antiquated, and it could be more relevant to the issues and concerns of the students there.
Well, would you believe that? Thank you, Diane. I think you said that very nicely. Yes. Hi, Laura Ray Smith, Miss Oregon. Now, you told me during one of our breaks in rehearsal that you're an athlete, right?
Yes, I am.
What sports do you participate in?
Well, I fence, water ski, snow ski, swim, girls football, basketball, just about everything.
And you told me that you're a better athlete, or you consider yourself more of an all-around athlete than a pretty girl?
Right.
Well, I tell you, you must be one fine athlete.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Oregon. Now, Miss New York is Christina Teft. And Christina, you are the oldest of 7, is that right?
Yes. My mother used to always say the oldest and ugliest.
Oh, my.
Yes.
Then there must be 6 very pretty ones, because here you are as one of the semi-finalists in our Miss USA pageant. Tell me this, though, now. A lot of folks in our audience probably have large families. Would you rather be the oldest or the youngest of 7?
No, I enjoyed being the oldest. I had a lot of responsibilities, but I also got a lot of the advantages that came along with being the oldest. I got to date earlier. I got my high heels first, and my hose, and so on.
Right now, the 6th one is wearing your old high heels, huh?
Right.
All right, thank you, Miss New York. Now, Miss Maine is Margaret Aletha McAleer, and she's a student at the University of Maine. And what are you studying?
I'm studying child development and psychology.
What have you learned about children?
Their problems.
How many years have you been in school?
I'm a sophomore now.
It's taken you 2 years to discover that?
Well, I guess I knew it all along.
Well, tell me this then, Margaret. Based on your studies, think back when you were a child. What's the best advice your own parents ever gave you?
I don't know.
Well, if you're smart enough to say that you don't know, you are smart enough. Thank you, Miss Maine. Now, Miss Virginia here is Debbie Shelton, and she won the Miss Pixable Award. And why don't you describe the Miss Pixable Award to our viewers? Tell them what it is, Debbie.
It means Miss Photogenic.
And the press photographers here in Florida
Voted
it to you.
That's right.
And you go to the Old Dominion University, and what are your hobbies?
Well, my major is art, so I like to paint and draw, and I like all sports, especially water sports, and especially football.
Well, one or the other. Are you a football player now, really? I didn't even pursue that. How come? How did you become a football player?
I just always played football when I was a little girl. I always played with boys instead of girls.
And you play football now at the school?
The fraternities have little sisters, and they have teams, and we play in that.
Yes. Well, you're the kind of a linebacker I'd like to have on my team, I'll tell you. Thank you, Miss Virginia. And there they are, our 15 semi-finalists. Thank you, girls.
Huh?
USA of 1970. Which one will she be?
The lovely lady next to me is the very first Miss USA, Jackie Lockery, who won the title in 1952 as Miss New York State. Now, has the pageant changed much since you became Miss USA?
Oh, yes, June, considerably. Of course, back then we only had 48 states, and we didn't have the facilities that the pageant offers the girls now. By that I mean we didn't have state costumes, and the gowns certainly was not as lavish as they are today. As a matter of fact, I won my pageant in a borrowed gown.
Oh, really? Was there a question from the judges to help determine the winner?
Well, not really. They interviewed us for personality and for poise, and then they asked us what our hopes were for the future.
Oh, and what was your answer about your future hopes?
Well, my future hopes, my answer was that I wanted to become an actress, and I did become an actress. I signed a contract with Universal Studios, and then I acted in many of their television shows and movies, and they've been very loyal to me, June. I'm going back to do a number of the television shows for them this season.
Good. Well, I hope you've had a good time here. We've enjoyed talking to you, and I'll be looking for you on television.
Thank you. You're lovely.
Thank you. And now, before we go on stage to meet tonight's special guest star, I believe we have a word from Duncan Hines.